So you get long when the bands are bullish on the daily. So you both get long here. Trader A is just waiting for the bands to cross, the first cross. So Trader A ends up exiting here. Trader B also uses market structure and is waiting for a market structure break. And regardless of how the bands look, when there's a significant market structure break, they're exiting on the next bounce. So Trader B would be out anywhere in here, whether it closes immediately or closes on the bounce. Trader A would actually have to wait for the bounce to cross and would get out way, way, way lower. Both get great entries. One gets a far better exit. So you can play around with these things. You can combine these things for better results. Question 2. Made a 3 times moving average indicator with students with basic trading view account can use. Best. We already have those. I mean, I really appreciate everyone doing it, but I've had like 15 DMs with people sending multiple time frame EMAs. So I'm not ignoring anyone. I just can't post all of them up. I have posted the 50, 100, 200 one up. I will get another one that allows people to type in whatever ones they want. I think the one that's up already has that. No. Yeah. So the one that's up, which is in the Learning Center, has this as well. You can customize it to your own requirements. So that one's already there. So I appreciate everyone doing it, but it's in the Alpha Center already. Here, 3 indicators in one. You can put any time frames you want into this. And it was MM1193 did that one. So I've had a bunch of these DMs. I really appreciate it. I can't obviously put them all up. It would be no point. Minted Mind, GM, that's not related to the thing, so I'm going to go on. Felfiat, GM, do you think that each chart has a better fitting time frame? For example, let's say there's way too much crisscross in the daily time frame on a shitcoin. So you check a bit higher, and by visual, it seems like 2 days much more reliable because it seems actually have much more reaction to it. I usually do this with 95% of the time. I use mostly time frames such as daily and 4 hour. I'm more of the opinion of I have my systems that I like, that work for me, and that I am used to, and I can execute, and I am comfortable with, and I wait for those to fire. Rather than trying to individualize my approach to each coin, I stick with the same process and apply it across different coins. Because then the process remains consistent over time. Doesn't matter what the coin is. If it meets the criteria, I'll trade it. If you look at the problem, what you've said is completely fine, but the problem with it is you're looking at the past and saying, okay, in the past, this coin seems to more respect a 2-day trend, but that doesn't mean it will in the future. And that might mean that you're looking at Bonk and you're using a 2-day, but then you're looking at WIF and it's a 1-day. You're looking at Bitcoin and it's your 4 hour or your 12 hour. You're going to end up with just a bunch of completely different processes, which can lead to more confusion. Disciple of God, GM. You mentioned that liquidity may rest at round numbers. Or, yeah, sorry, last thing on that. It also, within each individual asset, it changes too. So one of the examples I showed of Bitcoin here, was it that one? Where the fuck was it? It was 2021, yeah. So like, for example, BTC here, this entire trend from July to September, it was the 100 EMA that was the killer. Bitcoin just respected that 100 EMA perfectly. Like, if you just bought the 100 EMA, 1 perfect dip buy, 2 perfect dip buys, 3 on a retest, boom, until it obviously trend ended. So for that particular trend, Bitcoin did not respect the 50 at all, loved the 100 and never went near the 200. But, you know, in the very next trend, what happens? Trends up, touches the 50 once, and that's it. After that, it's all over. So even in the same asset, across a period of just a few months, that dynamic changes. So I would stick more with the consistent process, regardless of coin, because the coins change themselves. Disciple of God, GM. You mentioned liquidity may rest at round numbers because of psychological reasons. Do you think it makes sense to look at levels denominated in euros? No, dollars, USD. 99% of the market looks at USD, yeah. Hungry Hugo, GM. How do you utilize MAs in day trading system based on 1 hour sweep? Not related to this lesson, bro. This is only about trend trading. You can apply this to intraday trends. It's not that it's fine, do it. Just be aware that the market is not going to give clear and clean intraday trends that often, just by virtue of the fact that there's way more noise in the low time frames and it's each day. Like when you see a 4-hour trend trade set up, it takes months to set up and months to play out, and sometimes they don't work. If you're looking at an intraday chart and you're using a 15-minute, a 5-minute, and a 1-minute as your primary, secondary, tertiary, most days it's just not going to work because most days is going to be choppy. But there are going to be days where it trends and works really well. So you have to be comfortable with the fact that you're probably going to have more days where you have losing days or you have sideways choppy days, but you could get some really big intraday trends and catch them nice with your bands. So same logic, just more thing. Snake, GM, multiple confluences. Would you utilize AMAs differently for spot bag strategies? I love the very objective nature, but the way I've been using them feels at times needless to get me in and out during mean phases of the market. Like to improve the process with regard to spot bags. I was thinking perhaps considering any of the high time frame range broadly chop. I don't need to use the AMAs during confirmed trending conditions for invalidation. If you're talking about spot, yeah, you want to wait until the trend is just super obvious and use it to get out, not in. Yeah, that's the example of Bitcoin that I showed, right? That high time frame example from 2021. If you just were long, like again, if you knew about crypto in 2020, you must have been holding coins at some point along here, right? If you were aware of it in 2020, what stopped you from buying here or here or here? So let's assume you have spot bags somewhere here, somewhere below 27, okay? Then all you need to do is look at it for the exit. So you could look at the market structure break, even though the bands are still bullish, and you're using the exit on the bounce. Yeah. So that's using your higher time frame bands along with your market structure to get out rather than to get in. Getting in's fine. I mean, getting in, you can also do that, but yeah. S has, not related to the lesson. Leggy, GM. Found some testing. The retest might be a bit late to get into trade and usually get stopped out quite often. I found that entering on the cross is better. Though I tested this 1 hour, 50, 100, 200. Based on experience, the cross retest better on low time and high time frame. No difference. No noticeable difference. Obviously, there are differences, but you'd have to test every single time frame and see what works better or worse. The logic's the exact same. Every single trend up will have 50, 100, 200 in line. So if you just bought at the cross, then if there is an uptrend, you are obviously going to get in at the earliest possible point. But you're going to have many crosses that are false, and they cross back because you have choppy phases. That happens on a 1 hour, that happens on a 1 day. Robin, GM, is the moving average your favorite one to use for setting up a trend trading system? Or do you like others more than moving average? So I'm excited. Yeah. EMA, for me, EMAs is trend trading. Yeah. Natanan, can we use the same strategy on other touches the EMA? It doesn't have the same profitability. Oh yeah. This was actually part of it from the very first here. Here we go. I answered this. I actually forgot to cover this part. Later retests are totally valid, right? So as you see here, later retests are completely valid, right? The first touch was the best touch on the 4 hour for Sui. The second touch absolutely still worked. It made a new high. You didn't get the big trend because this was the earliest possible point you could get. So later touches are fine. If you have reason to believe that we are in a later stage trend, just meaning that the trend is well established, then the tests, the touches, the expectation for me and how I trade it is just to a new high. And I don't expect it necessarily to go beyond that. So if I was looking at this and I got long there, I would be watching here. I might not exit. I would watch. And if there's a false breakout, and I would look at a lower time frame, and I might see like a 1 hour, and I see the 1 hour false breakout, it goes back inside and retests here, I'd be out there. So I get in there, false breakout, I'm out there. Yeah. And that's completely, you can see this visually. Just look at any trend, like major trend on BTC, for example. So over here, you get your cross, right? So you get the cross, the bullish, moves up. First touch, new highs, never comes back. Touches again, goes to new highs again. Touches again, goes to new highs again. Right? Touches again, goes to new highs, but not significantly beyond it. Touches again, goes to new highs, but comes back down. So as the trend develops, each of these touches, it's still bouncing, it's still getting bid up, it's still making new highs, but it's not necessarily having big breakouts and continuation. So that's just the nature of trends. They will eventually weaken as the trend continues. Lucio, what if 5 mini EMAs get bullish first, then 1 hour and 4 hour? Like Thai, for example, wait for retracement. So the 1 hour, I don't know which ones these are. So so 5 minute. I would wait for a fib retracement, maybe 5 minute bands get bullish, can approach it, may still overextend this point, momentum trade. I don't know. If you mean the 5 minutes or 5 minutes bullish, but the 1 hour and 4 hour is bearish, that's not a reason to enter, right? Because your low time frame is bullish, but the high time frames are not. So this would be, as soon as you get your primary trend, your primary has to be your highest time frame of whichever you choose. And then you're waiting for the primary to pull back, but still be bullish. And then your tertiary is bearish and goes bullish, right? So the 5 minute EMAs would be a good signal to get in if the 1 hour and 4 hour are bullish. But if the 1 hour and 4 hour are bearish, then the 5 minute bounce is probably just going to be a lower high or a retest bearishly because the other time frames are bearish. So that'd be the assumption. Why have I got 9 tags in it? Why are people spam tagging me during the stream? I'm not answering any more questions. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but that was a fucking banger. I enjoyed it. Hope you all enjoyed it too. Look at these notes. Absolutely G. So, thanks for joining, everyone. GM. That is the EMA/MA Trend Trading Weekend Workshop number 10. Done. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you got plenty of ideas, system ideas, and a lot of stuff to go off and test. Good stuff. If you're white belt, this will all be more of an approach when you get to blue belt. And obviously for everybody else, get testing. Thanks for joining, everyone. GM. Talk soon.